Hi, I'm Bernie from Crafters Companion. I'm going to actually show you how you put together our Build-A-Block pineapple. It's an absolutely fantastic block and so easy. You're going to absolutely love it. So when you open the box, you're going to get your booklet with everything in, which we'll have a look at. And you're going to get your roadmap as well. Now on here, this gives you the 3 different sizes of blocks that you can make, which is a 6-inch, 8-inch or 12-inch finished block. So today we're going to do a 12-inch block. Okay, so I'll pop that aside. So the first thing you want to do is choose your size, which we've done. We've chosen the 12, and we're going to cut out the pieces. Now, in the booklet, I'll get to the correct page, we've got lots of top tips in here. You've got guides on how to sew them together, but I'm going to give you some tips as well. And we've also got here a chart of how to place them on your fabric. Because you've got some bias edges, if you place them this way, you're going to get the optimum cut for when you're joining them together, okay? And then we've got the block itself, and it'll tell us how many pieces we need to cut. Doesn't matter what size you cut, it's the same number of pieces. And then we go step by step of how we put that block together, and I've actually got these to do today to show you, so we'll do it hands held, we'll do it together. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some triangles. So it's telling us here that we need to cut 4 of the triangles. So I'm going to find my triangle, and I've used my road map to determine which is my triangle. And I'm just going to get it out of there. I always use my scissors because I have my daft nails. And then it's our usual multimedia sandwich. So we have our clear plate, metal shim, and then I've got my fabric over, and then I've got my die. And a top tip for when you're putting it through your machine, rather than putting it where the pressure's all going to hit on that straight line, just pop it on a bit of an angle, okay? And then we've got our plastic shim and our other clear plate, and then we're going to pop that through our Gemini. So I've got all my pieces cut out, and I'm ready to assemble my block. Now, a top tip from me is always assemble your block next to you when you're sewing. And once you've sewed a piece, you pop it back down so you've got it in the same place. So what I'm going to do is now assemble the block. So you're going to follow the guide in the book. So in the booklet here, we can see we've got this chart, and that's what we're actually going to follow. So in the centre there, it's saying I've got a grey one with the pink around the outside. Okay, so my grey one is my yellow. And then I do have pink, so I'm going to place these all the way around the outside. And what you're going to do is follow that guide and just set them all up. So as you can see, we've got all of the block laid out, and you'll know it's correct because your colours will all go in a line. So if you've got any in the wrong place at this point, you can easily move them about just to keep you right. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to sew from the centre outwards. And as you can see, it goes in rounds. And in the book as well, it actually refers to them as rounds. So this is your centre square. These are your inner triangles. And then this is round 1, which is the grey one. The pink one here is round 2, round 3, round 4, and so on. And then you've got these corner points here at the end. So it's really, really easy to put together. So the first thing you're going to do is sew the centre square with the triangles. So what you're going to do is you're going to place one of your triangles right sides together on here, and as you can see, we've got those dog ears cut off, so that's then saving you that one step of time as well. And you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch along that side, and then you're going to put the one opposite, and this is in the book as well, a top tip, put it opposite, and you're going to stitch that one, and then press it open, and then put the opposite sides on. So that's what I'm going to do now. So we've sewn that and we've pressed it, and as we say, we did those opposite sides and then the other opposite sides, and that keeps it neat. Now what you do notice is, and I'll just hold this up to see if you can see it, that yellow point doesn't go exactly to the end. That's correct. That needs to be about a 1/4 inch away, because when you put your other piece on the top, you then get that point showing. If your point goes to the end, you just adjust it slightly just so you can get that point nice and crisp. Okay, so that's the centre one done. Oh, and the other thing as well, I'm going to show you the back. always press to the outside of the square, and you'll find that everything lies neatly. And when we come to finish it, you'll see the end block and that they all press that way. So the next one we're going to do is now add on round one, if you like, which are these grey ones in this instance. So you're going to lay it on the top and you're going to centre it on there, centre. And then what I would say is, if you sew from this side rather than the grey side, because where your seams cross there and they meet, you've got an intersection at that tip of the yellow, you just want to make sure that your 1/4 inch seam line is going through that point. So if you've got to slightly go off a little bit just to get in there, and what that means is when it opens up, you'll again get that sharp, crisp point, and that's what makes the pineapple block so brilliant. So what I'm going to do is sew those on again, 2 opposites and then the 2 sides, and then we'll give it a press. So there we go, we've got round one on, so doesn't it look great? And as you can see as well, again, we've got that grey, we've got a 1/4 inch before we get to the tip of the pink triangle. Again, that's your 1/4 inch seam. And what you'll find now, you might look at it and think, oh, well, it's strange because that now doesn't fit. What happens is, because you're always doing those seam allowances, it then makes it down into the size block that you're making. So next one, we're going to actually put on the pink. Now, again with this one, you're going to line it up. Just line up those corners and you're going to flip it over. And again, we're going to sew so that it goes through that intersection. You can probably see that better there on the pink. It's going to go through that intersection. And again, I'm going to sew all of these 4 on. So let's do that now. So here we go. That's that round, so that's round 2. So now we've got round 3 and round 4, and we're going to put them on exactly the same way. So you're going to place it on, centre it up. Now this time, what you'll find is you haven't got a point at the top to hit, so you can actually stitch from either side. It doesn't make a difference on these ones, because you haven't got that point to hit. So we're going to sew all of the grey one round, we're going to sew all of the pink, and then we're going to do exactly the same and sew on the 4 corners, and then we've finished our block. So I'll sew them together now. So here we go, here's the block finished. So how easy was that? Just all straight seams, just the only point is to get that seam through that point of the triangle every time of the angle, and then you'll get the perfect crisp corners. Now, I promised you earlier I was going to show the back of this, which I'm going to do. So here we go. So there, I mean, how pretty does that look? And this is where I say, always let your seams will want to go that way, but always let your seams go out like that. And then that seam is as flat as it can be for when you're doing your free motion quilting or your walking foot quilting, you know, your ruler work, whatever you prefer to do. But that'll make it as flat as possible. So yeah, so that is how you make the Build-A-Block pineapple.